It's live and it's the Dazn boxing show and this is war!
Welcome to the Dazn boxing show, coming to you live from Manchester, the birthplace of Britpop, synonymous with its two iconic football clubs. And tonight, the stage for a huge heavyweight showdown as Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora face off for the second time. Yo! How's everybody doing? Listen, relax, you're in the right place. Ade Oladipo has moved over to the main broadcast, so you're here with me, Travis J, and I'm here right now with the former WBC Cruiserweight champion, Tony Bellew. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother, I'm good. Happy to be here and looking forward to this great event tonight.
Oh, it's going to be packed. The atmosphere, I can already taste it.
It'll be fantastic. Just let these two main eventers get in the ring and just listen, they're going to go to war. I can't wait to see it. And there's so many more other action-packed fights tonight that everybody is going to really enjoy.
Oh, it's amazing. We've got so much to come. We'll be hearing from Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Lerone Richards, Alan, Savage, Babbage, and also the main man, Eddie Hearn, will be joining us. But that's what's happening on this side of the pond. Over on the other side of the pond, mate, light heavyweight action as Ramirez takes on Gonzalez over on Dazn, and over in Tampa, it's getting a bit crazy out there because Jake Paul's got some business to take care of. Our man out there, one half of Akin Barak, Akin Reyes, he's out there, baby.
Thanks, guys. Hey, it's your boy Ak. I'm here enjoying the beautiful sun in Tampa, Florida, for one reason and one reason only. Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley, the rematch. I'm going to be chopping up with all the key players that are involved in this showdown on Saturday. You don't want to miss it. Back to you guys.
And as always, we're kicking things off with the opening bell. Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora 2, repeat or revenge? How do you feel?
It's a tough one because I've been taken by surprise a little bit. Joseph Parker comes in. I didn't expect him to be heavier than Derek Chisora.
Yes.
And I didn't expect Del to come in that light. So this could be for the better for Derek Chisora, but I don't know. I'm sure that Andy Lee and the team have worked towards this for the specific reason. And I think the reasoning behind it is Joseph Parker's going to come out and try and start strong and try and nail Del early. Yeah,
I think Joseph Parker really needs to make a statement tonight. You know, there's a lot of feeling about him being very laid back. I mean, how Chisora jumped on him in that first round, he can't afford for the fight to go like that again. And I think him being 10 pounds heavier, he's going to come and try and put some hands on Derek.
I would understand why. I think he will look at the first fight and think the reason that I've lost it is pure, or the reason it was so close, is because he started so slowly. But for Derek Chisora, there's only one way to fight. It's always the same way every single time. Derek Chisora is not going to turn into Muhammad Ali tonight. Yeah. He's going to get in there, he's going to get in your face, he's going to make it uncomfortable, and he's going to keep on coming and keep on coming. Joseph Parker can do various things. He can box quite well. He's got a good, strong jab. He's got reasonably fast hands for the heavyweight, and he can definitely punch. But as I say, can he keep Derek Chisora off him? That's the big thing.
How different is it going into a rematch? Like, you've had a couple of rematches yourself, Nathan Cleverly. Now, what's the energy like in camp when you're going into a rematch?
For me, it was always different because every time, I think I've done 4, maybe 5 rematches in my professional career. Over McKenzie, Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, definitely not. Derek would love this if it was me and him going for a rematch. He's a maniac. We're so close, and the maniac would still fight me. But Isaac Chilemba, Nathan Cleverly, David Hay, to name but a few. There's been a number of them. Going into the rematch, I always felt at ease because I could study the mistakes that I made in that first fight, and I could implement the right strategy the second time round. I never ever lost a rematch. I always felt really strong going in, even when they were in fights where I was the underdog going into them. So Cleverly rematch, I was the underdog. David Hay rematch, once again I was the underdog. It's just something you've got to learn to do. But for tonight, for Joseph Parker, he will ultimately look at that first fight and think, I've got to start quicker. And Derek Chisora is going to look for the knockout.
Absolutely.
As that. He feels he won it, Trav.
Yeah.
He feels he's done enough.
Is it win or bust for both of these guys tonight?
For Derek Chisora, not so much, because he just loves to fight. I mean, I wish he'd stop. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to, and he doesn't see any reason or need to when he's performing so well in the gym and he's getting in such great shape. I mean, you look at him on the scales and the weight that he's at, he looks fantastic, he really does, but he's got to show it in there tonight. It's all well and good being good in the gym, looking great on the scales, but it's another thing doing it in that ring, and in that ring tonight he's got to do it.
What motivates Derek at this point of his career? Because I don't feel like he's hungry for a world title. I think he just loves to scrap.
It's not the money, that's what I will say. And you've hit the nail on the head when you're saying he loves to scrap. That's what it's about for Derek Chisora. He loves to please the fans. You know, this is a man who comes into this ring tonight with 11 losses on his record. And he's loved and revered to more than many other fights in the country. Why does he keep coming back? Because he just loves it. This arena, this stage, this amazing platform that we're on, this is what Derek thrives on. And when this kind of thing goes away, I feel that's when he'll stop. But it's only until he stops filling arenas like this and being in events of this kind of magnitude that he'll walk away.
Yeah. We've got a massive undercard as well. We've got Lerone Richards versus Gongora. That's a big fight. How do you feel about that one?
Carlos Gongora is very, very dangerous.
Yes.
20 victories, 15 by KO. We know what he's about. Looking at him here, he looks like a bit of a lump. But Lerone Richards is someone I know quite well.
Yeah.
I sparred Lerone Richards. I got him in when I was fighting Adonis Stevenson.
Okay.
That didn't do me much good, to be honest. But he's a really, really tricky customer. As for Carlos Gongora, we don't know how good he is. We fear and dread his punching power. That's what I can say about him. You know, we all know he can punch and he goes for the knockout straight away. As for Lerone Richards, not a single pick on him. He's in unbelievable shape. Dave Caldwell studied Carlos Gongora and they've got a game plan and they're ready to put it in place. But as I've said once again, it's one thing saying it, it's another thing doing it. How is Lerone Richards going to react the first time he gets clocked by Carlos Gongora? That to me is the key for this fight.
Big statement. How far do you think Lerone Richards can go?
I think he can definitely become a world champion. I mean, it's a tough division that he's in, the super middleweights. No one's going to get anywhere near, obviously, the king, Canelo Alvarez. That's just a gimme, you know, don't even think about him. But that guy's floating between that many weight divisions. They're going to be able to pick up a title somewhere in between. Outside of Canelo, everyone in the super middleweight division is beatable. I'm not sure, you know, I think Caleb Plant is a really, really good fighter.
Yes.
If Billy Joe comes back and he retains the super middleweight, he's another really, really good fighter. So there's fights there to be made. You know, there's Demetrius Andrade who floats once again in between and out of divisions, and he always wants a big fight. So for Lerone Richards, it's just about getting through tonight and hoping that you can find another avenue maybe to that world title, because he's been a British, a Commonwealth and a European champion. We want to see what he's got tonight.
Mate, the undercard is amazing, but Alan Babbage, the Savage. How do you feel about him tonight? Alan, I always love watching him.
I love Alan. Alan is fantastic. I mean, he's gold. He's TV gold. You see him here. A small, dangerous heavyweight. That's what he is. Good things come in small packages. That very, very rarely comes true in the heavyweight division. But it's very true when it comes to Alan Savage Babbage. He's absolutely fantastic. So let's see how he goes on tonight. He's had a very, very active 2021. 2022 is big. You know, I know he's already looking at the Bridgerweight division. And he's looking at the champion there straight away. So let's see what he brings to the table tonight. I expect a knockout victory and a clean one too. So.
Do you reckon it benefits him to stay at heavyweight? Because it seems like Bridgerweight is still finding his feet as a division, but what do you reckon?
It's hard because he says so many crazy things. You're not sure what to take serious and what not to. But I don't want to make him out to be like he's just saying it for the... He actually believes everything he's saying. So he wants to win a title at cruiserweight. He wants to win one at Bridgerweight, and he wants to do something at heavyweight. But for me, he's got to be certain and make his mind up on exactly what he expects and wants to do in boxing. And pick the exact weight division you want to be at, because you can't keep flitting in between up and down in weights all the time. You've got to make sure you're at the right division for you. I think Bridgerweight's the ideal one for him. I do think cruiserweight will be a bit of a struggle. I think it would be a bit of a dip. I mean, he even said light heavyweight the other day. I said, you must be mad. You must be crazy. So we'll just see how he goes. I mean, get through tonight, which we all expect him to. And then there's some really exciting matchups out there, there really is.
The undercard is stacked. We've got Zelfa Barrett, Jack Cullen, so much more tonight. But, you know, earlier on, Tony Anade caught up with Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora.
The main event on Saturday is a rematch of a fight that happened earlier in the year. It is Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora 2, repeat or revenge? We're going to ask those questions now, because Joseph Parker is with us. Joseph, I guess first question, you win the first fight. Yes, controversial to some, split decision. Some would say move on. You know, move on, get away from it. Chisora's an awful fighter to fight. Why have you gone back and done the rematch?
A few reasons why. The first fight was a very close fight, and straight after the fight, you know, we said that we're going to rematch. He asked for a rematch straight away, and I felt it was. When you look at the heavyweight division, there weren't a lot of options as well. You know, and he was always keen to fight. He's always keen to fight anyone and everyone. and because because we gave him our word, we thought, you know, let's lock it in, and then let's see if I can do the same thing or better, or see what he's going to bring the second time around.
It's a very honourable thing to do, and I commend any fighter out there, especially yourself, Joseph, who did have other options and could have taken another avenue. I commend you massively for doing it, because so many fighters get into hard fights and they get it, it's a really close razor thin and you get it your way. But a lot of fighters will go, right, I don't need that now. I've done that part, let's move on. But so full credit to you. What do you feel the reasoning behind the first fight being so close was?
Derek started fast, and Derek applied a lot of pressure, you know, and I started slow, and I think in the first half of the fight, Derek was taking the show. Now I was able to pick it up, I think just before halfway and towards the end, but it was very close, and it could have went either way. Like, if I didn't get the decision, you know, no one would complain, because it was a close fight.
It's brilliant to hear someone so honest, because we get so many fights over the years and they go, I won, it was this and that.
Yeah.
And I mean, straight away you think back to Lopez after the Cambodia fight recently, and it's a close fight, it's a really close fight, and he's like, I won 10 rounds, and you're like, mate, I know you've just been in an emotional fight and you're wide up, but for you to come out and say that, just brilliant.
I think as a fighter, you know when you're in the ring how close it is, and if you've won by unanimous decision or not, and it's just got to be honest, right? And that's why we're here now, second fight.
Prior to that fight, you obviously got that link up with Andy Lee. You had a 4 or 5 week training camp with Andy Lee in order to get prepared for the first Chisora fight. I always say it needs a lot longer than that. You had a lot longer now with Andy Lee. Have you noticed the differences in sort of sparring and training camp?
I've noticed a big difference from the first camp to the second camp. Just having a better understanding of what he's trying to teach me, being able to do it in front of him, and you know, he can sort of correct a few things here and there, and just it's a stronger relationship now, boxing-wise, friendship-wise. But I think the most important part is just that time together to work on things.
You're very fortunate. Andy Lee has been round, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people's opinion, the greatest trainer of all time, in the late great Emmanuel Stewart. He will have learned so much. He's been around another good coach in Adam Booth. What do you feel that he's put into this camp? I mean, I said to you before, for the first camp I've been around you and seen you, it's a completely different Joseph Parker. In the second fight, as soon as I've come up and we've embraced each other and seen each other, last time, I think, when you said 4 to 5 weeks, it's not so much that it's a rushed camp, but you're focusing on trying to learn so much, and I felt like you'd lost size and weight. And it's all well and good losing weight, building up to a fight, but you don't actually, as a heavyweight, you don't really want to lose your weight. You don't want to lose your size. You want to keep your size. Yes, you want to lose a bit of body fat that you carry in the extra. You've been enjoying yourself since the win, but you want to keep that size and that frame. And I feel you've kept your size this time in your frame. So I'm assuming from the outside looking in, you're focused a lot more on the technical side of boxing, your game plan that you're going to impose. I would think that just purely by knowing the game. What do you feel you've been doing with Andy?
I feel with this longer time, exactly that. Working more on the game plan, technical side of things. You know, the fitness you can work on, you can be fit, and you know, you can go 12 rounds or whatever. But in order to, you know, it's a new coach, new training, schedule, program, and it's just, just trying to dig it into me so I can understand it more. You know, so it wasn't really, the last camp you did, I lost a bit of weight, went skinny, tiny. But
You weren't skinny.
This camp I feel I've left the weight on, and it should be beneficial in the fight.
You're former WBO heavyweight champion. You're still only 29 as well. You're only 29, which is kind of young when you look at all the other heavyweights in and around you right now. How far away do you think you are from that mix again, where your name is up there when people talk about Usyk and AJ and Fury? How far away do you think you are from those?
I'm not too far away, but I still have a lot of work to do. You know, I was champion of the world in 2016, lost it to AJ in 2018. At the moment, with the fights that I've had and what I've shown, you know, it's not really at that level yet. You know, so I still got a bit to do, and I'm just going to take it fight by fight. This fight first, and then after that, keep planning, and you know, and eventually I'll get there.
You've got massive victories on your ledger. I mean, the one that stands out to me is the Andy Ruiz fight.
Another close fight. Another close fight.
Really close fight, but you've done enough, in my opinion. You know, it was a fantastic victory, but...
And not many knew of Andy Ruiz then. I mean, obviously the boxing aficionados knew about him.
I think boxing...
At the time, a lot of people like Andy Ruiz, majority decision. Now, because obviously what Andy Ruiz has done, I feel like that result now is looked at as a much better result. Yeah.
It's looked at now as a lot better because of what he done with AJ. You know,
hindsight.
But he was a tough man, Andy Ruiz.
As I say, that you've got really good victories on there. I mean, the fight between you and Dillian White was a brilliant fight. You guys went back and forth.
Another tough one.
Yeah,
fighting all these Brits and always tough Brits.
The hard fights, but you know, you're always in good fights, as I say, and you're putting on these guys now. In the world that we live in, these are giants, some of these guys, heavyweights. So the likes of Tyson Fury and stuff like that, they're just monsters, they're huge. But as I say, the likes of Dillian's a big, heavy lump, but you've shown that you can keep and stick with these guys, even though they are bigger and heavier. Yeah. What do you... So you've got Derek coming up on Saturday night. What do you foresee? Well, obviously no one's going to look past Derek, but you're going to have to show similar attributes that I think you showed in that Dillian White fight. There's going to be times when you're going to have to stand there with him and get his respect and gain it. And there's going to be times when you're going to go, you know what, I need to have a blow this, so I'm going to have to box him.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage that? Because you know what he's bringing.
I know exactly what he's going to bring.
You know, it's right in front of you, he's there.
The great thing about camp is doing all of this, practicing, trying this, trying that. You know, in the first fight, I just came out, went straight on the back foot and let Derek dictate the pace, let him chase me around. And, you know, I respected him outside of the ring, but I think I gave him too much respect in the ring as well. This time I'm going to mix it up.
Yeah, that's been one accusation, Joseph. I guess some people have said Joseph starts slow. We know that towards the later, you know, championship rounds, you're always there, right? And you close the show really well all the time, but you start slow. Are you going to start faster, you think, this time around?
Yeah, start faster.
He's a 12-round fighter. You see, when you've had as many championship fights, Joseph, I understand and get it. You don't set out the chaps quick. We don't do it because we know what's to come. We know what's coming down.
Yeah, you know. But then Derek, how does he do it? How does he do it from round 1 to round 12?
This is what I'm saying. Derek does it because that's all Derek knows. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. That you know what you're getting when Derek turns up in that ring. He's the dog in the fight. The dog. He's never going to be the cat. He's the dog. Yeah, he's just going to get in.
It's the name Chisora now. Yeah. You mentioned Tyson Fury. Yeah, obviously he's been in camp with you sometimes. What's it been like being around the WBC heavyweight champion?
It's been very sort of uplifting, beneficial. Just training, training in Morecambe, using his gym. He's looked after us. Very, very generous. Joins in when he has time, and it's.
What's Morecambe like? New Zealand, America, Morecambe.
We've got beaches. Beaches.
Morecambe's a quiet place. Morecambe's good. It's good for what you do in terms of boxing. Like train, eat, sleep, repeat. That's all we did. That's all we did when we were there.
The cameras have been following you around as well. You've been filming a documentary for Dazn. We've been seeing some behind the scenes stuff, which is always good. What's it like? The cameras always following you around. Some people like it, some people don't.
It's a different experience. Like I've never really had that in my life, but it was, they keep you comfortable and they make you comfortable for them to be around. They don't really interfere, and it's a different experience. But it was great for them to capture what fighters go through, what I went through as a fighter, and leaving the family, going to another country, new coach, and all that. So it's a good experience.
It's brilliant. I've seen some of the clips going around to the social media and stuff like that. I understand and I get it, and I'm happy this side of our sport's being portrayed and put out there because so many people just watch us get in the ring on fight night and think, oh, we're just fighters. We don't prepare for months at a time. We're away from our families and our minds race. We're just normal human beings like everyone else. But I'm made up. You've seen that side, and it's so difficult to do what you're doing. Being away from your family.
You've been through the same thing, and it's just great they're able to capture it because all the fighters, a lot of fighters go through the same thing: leaving home, saying goodbye, being away for a long time, missing special events, but it all pays off in the end.
Yeah, finally, Joseph, what can the fans expect on Saturday night?
War.
I know he's saying this.
It's going to be, isn't it?
It's going to be war. When you have him, Derek Chisora, Chisora, and then you have myself. I back myself with this fight 100%. I have confidence going into this fight with the work that I've done, but I know what he's going to bring. War.
It's going to be a good fight. Joseph, good luck. Good luck on Saturday. Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora. Main event on Saturday should be a good one. Remember, you can only watch it live and exclusive on Dazn.
And if you look at Joseph Parker in the world rankings, he's bang in line for a world championship fight.
I'm leaving New Zealand without even knowing if I can get back. Hey, you wanna go with me? Don't worry, Mom.
He's just the most loving person.
They sort of understand that I'm going away to make some money to feed our family.
I think the hardest part will be coming home and just not having him around.
Morning, Joe. So the trainer I'm working with is Andy Lee, and he's based over in Ireland. That was a suggestion from Tyson Fury.
I wouldn't have put you in any other hands but for Andy Lee.
Tyson Fury gave us his house to stay in. He's given us his gym to use.
Their relationship is a bit of a bromance.
I just don't want to see any mistakes, okay?
Really miss my wife and kids. I'll be ready for whatever you bring.
I want to knock you out.
I've become champion of the world. I want to be champion of the world again. And I want to give it everything I can to achieve that goal.
Main event on Saturday from the AO Arena is this man, Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker. It's going to be a good one, because he's always in good ones all the time. Derek Chisora, thank you for giving us a few minutes. You know what I was thinking about before we get into the event? I was thinking about your record, right? 11 defeats, although, by the way, some of them...
Is it 11?
11.
Are you serious? I thought it was 10.
Sorry to add that extra one. But what, we can strike off the Hellenius one immediately. We can strike off the Hellenius one, we can strike off the Dillian White one in 2016 as well. Those ones has to be thrown away from the record books. But what I was thinking is, you know what British boxing's like, and boxing in general, when someone has 3 or 4 defeats, fans kind of move away, they forget about them, you don't sell out arenas anymore, you certainly don't do big numbers on platforms like DAZN. You've thrown that out the window. How do you think you've been able to kind of keep the British boxing public on your side to the point where they don't care about your record like that?
I think the most important thing for me is faith. You know, God. You know, if I have faith, anything is possible. You know, I say how I feel. You know, when I post something, I don't have to make it look very nice on Instagram. I post it because this is who I am. You know, these days we live a lie. You know, we post things of, look at me, I got this, I got this. I like to post on my darkest days, on my good times. You know, so I think most people will realize, you know what, this guy's genuine.
Yeah.
You know, but just remember, only a couple of years ago, it was not all cheers, it was all boos. You know, but I persisted and carried on until those boos turned into cheers, basically.
For you, Derek, you've never had to be someone who needs to reinvent themselves or change the persona. Ultimately, in the end, it's got to cross who you are and what you're about. What do you feel that you need to show on Saturday night to get through Joseph Parker? Yes, the first fight's really close. A lot of people think you got it, some people think that he got it, but either way, it doesn't matter what anyone says, it's a really close, hard fight. What do you think you need to do this time to make it a lopsided fight or get the knockout victory that you want?
We're gonna try. We're gonna go for a knockout. We're gonna, you know, I got Dave Caldwell now in the corner. You know, we're gonna. He's told me like it's a 12-round fight. You know, we take round by round. You know, we're gonna do mistakes in the ring, but he's telling me we're gonna do a mistake, but don't try and rush at it. Take your time. And for this fight, I think there'll be more power punches than the last fight. Yeah, I'm gonna bring so much power punches to this because I am fit enough now.
Do you think we're going to see a different Joseph Parker? A lot of people have said
yes.
Maybe in those big fights he might have frozen a little bit. In your fight, I don't think he started fast in your fight. Dillian White fight, maybe we didn't see the best of him. And same with the AJ fight. Do you think we're seeing a different Joseph Parker this time around?
You know, it's difficult because if you got it, you got it. Do you understand? You know, we can't say we're going to see a different fighter because really and truly, for your last 22 fights, you've boxed the same way. What's going to be different from this fight now? You're going to come different. Yes, you might come different for the first round, and then you realize this is not my territory. you know, I like that territory. You know, you hit me, I hit you. Let's just rock and roll. You know, I hope we see a different Joseph Parker.
Do you think he'll revert to, so what you're basically saying is he might come out, try and put it on you for the first couple of rounds, but ultimately when the smoke starts getting thrown about, he's going to revert to type and he's going to go back on that back foot and try and box?
Yeah, you know, I'm happy if he comes out. I'm happy if he wants to box. You know, either way it works for me. You know, I prefer going hunting. You know, if the hunter comes to look for me, I'm happy to, I prefer to defend myself. You understand? So either way, I'm happy. You understand? When boxing for me, I was not taught to box one way. I was taught to box all ways, basically. Some people taught to box, never fight. And they always like that way of boxing. But me, I always prefer fighting and boxing at the same time.
I've always thought your greatest strength is how you're able to pull people into your style of fight. Yes. They'll watch you on the tape and they will think, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we spoke to Joseph Parker before and I said this. I said, when you watch Derek on tape, it's a completely different to being in there with him, isn't it? And you learned that the first time around. He said, yeah. He said, I've seen so many things going into the first fight that I thought I could exploit. But before he knew it, he found himself in an absolute war of attrition and didn't know what to do at certain points in the fight. Now, how is it that you're able to drag these people into your style of fight every single time? Is it the pressure? Is it your perseverance? Is it the mental games that you play with them, D? Tell me.
I think it's both, because you have to understand, you know, Don Charles always told me, you can't box tall. So I like to stay in a bubble, a round bubble, basically. Stay small and go forward, you know. Because remember, when everybody chucks a punch, you don't have to move big time. You just have to slide. But as long as you're sliding and you're moving forward, and then suddenly they get into a panic stage, and then you're there, and they move you again, and you're there, and you're there. And then suddenly, everything they were taught comes out the window, and then they're in my game now.
Where does that mental warfare come from? I've followed your career from the get-go, and you've always done things in the lead, I'm going to call them things, in the lead up to fights, almost to get under your opponent's skin, and it works because when they fight you, they don't fight the way they're supposed to fight, right? Some of them want to come and take your head off, but it seems to work. Where's that come from? Is that just you? Have you copied that from a fighter in the 80s and the 70s? Is that just how you've decided to kind of go about your career?
Listen, it's just, I'm gassed up, I'm pumped up, I'm just ready to rock and roll. You know, it's just two guys in the ring just trying to fight. You know, for me, everything starts off from the moment we see on the podium table, and then that's when we know we're going to fight.
I still feel like there's more drama left this week. Something's telling me that there's just...
Well, not here right now, please.
No.
Not in this. We've got a couple more minutes, not now, please.
I know I've been around Derek for so long, I just know what makes him tick and how he functions, and I don't know that... Yes, it's all well and good that these guys get on, it's great, but they're going to go to war Saturday night, and that's going to sink in. Whether it's at this press conference or the way, and it's going to become a realisation soon enough.
For me, it's real. It's always real. You know, for most fighters, they always find it real when they get in the ring, but for me, it's real from the moment the fight is signed on. You know.
Could the biggest difference be, obviously, look, Andy Lee was there first time round, gets a big account with Andy Lee this time, yourself and Dave Coldwell. Is the biggest difference, though, that the fans there? You've not fought in front of fans since, what, David Price, October 2019?
Exactly, you know, and that's a big thing that, you know, most fighters freeze. And I'm going to be honest with you, man, it's like, I don't know how I'm going to act. You know, so I decided to come in the arena early so I can just sit in the fans because I need to feel the vibrations. Because you have to understand, if there's no fans and you're fighting with no fans, and then suddenly you come out that stage and then you're like, your whole body just freezes, and then suddenly you have to walk to the ring, that energy level and the energy level just drops down. So it's just, sometimes it's just a serious, like, you have to, like, you know, figure out how you're going to deal with it.
So you feel like you're going to need to acclimatise to
Yes,
the
sir.
environment?
Yes, sir. Because
It's been so long.
I know. I'm like, it's like I mean, it's like we go to Miami and like wherever. We from London right now. We go there and then trying to lay down on the sunbed or the pool with no sun cream or anything. What do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm used to this.
At the same time, he's been in the same situation. He's not fought in front of crowds.
Yeah, but that's him. You know, that's him. I'm not looking what he's doing. I'm looking what I want to do for me. You know, I always do me first, and then the rest can follow.
So many, like I always say to people, this is the best time to be a heavyweight, right? Big fights, so many big names, so many big fights. Not looking past Joseph Parker, of course not. That's a massive, massive fight for you. But do you look at potentially what could be there for you in 2022?
Nope.
I just tricky there, and you answered correctly.
I don't look at what I'm gonna have for dinner tomorrow while I'm having my dinner right now. I don't. Tomorrow is not promised to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, with this lifestyle we live now, when this whole pandemic going on, you know, we're here now, we're happy. You can get a phone call tomorrow, or so you're like, what the hell? And then suddenly, you live for the moment. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. You know, I'm happy we're here, but I don't ever look at any other heavyweights. You know, like say, oh, you know what? If I get through this, I want to fight this guy. I used to do that when I was, you know, like four years ago. But now, I'm just happy what I got in my plate.
You know, it's funny. Everyone that's sat here, the final question I ask everyone is, how do I expect the fight to play out? What do they expect?
And everybody goes, oh, knockout.
You, though, I don't need to ask that question because I think they know what's coming. War's coming. That's what you bring.
Bringing war, no mercy, baby. I'm just bringing pain. You know, I got a saying I tell myself every day. You know, it's like, I look in the mirror and say, just pound on that man. Pound and pound. Just beat him up. Beat him everywhere. Pound, pound. So we're just going to go in there and pound and pound and pound. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to try to look for a knockout. If the knockout comes, it's coming. You know, but what we're going to do is just go in there, lace up, and just pound and pound. Pound on that flesh, baby. That's what we're going to do.
Should be a good one, right? Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker this Saturday, live and exclusive on Dazn. Make sure you tune in to watch this one. Should be a good one.
Let's throw some jabs.
Nick, what are you doing, mate?
I'm just doing my Christmas card list, isn't it? We've got our naughty and nice list to do, and I'm making sure I'm getting my Christmas cards out nice and early.
Can I see Maurizio Sullivan's name on that? Are you sending him one?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Make sure you tune in to us on Dazn Christmas Eve for the Fight Disciples Naughty and Nice list of 2021.
Let's throw some jabs.
I cannot wait for the Christmas edition of Jabs. That premieres on Christmas Eve. Tony, who's on your naughty and nice list?
Right. Well, there's only one who's definitely on the naughty list this year, and I think it's Teofimo Lopez Sr. Definitely not the fighter. His father was nuts all week in the build-up. The people he's blamed for his son's loss, the things that he said, he was just a little bit nuts on the night, and I think definitely a bad reflection on his son. His son's an amazing fighter, really good guy, but yeah, he was just all wrong for him on the night.
Oh, mate, well, listen, the Chisora Parker 2 build-up is on. But right now, we're going to kick over to Tampa because there's another rematch. Jake Paul, he goes up against Tyrone Woodley one more time. Akeem Reyes is with him now.
All right, we're here in Tampa with one of the biggest names in boxing. I'm going to say it. Listen, Jake, you already shared the ring with this gentleman. What out of that fight did you get that is making you so confident that you were going to knock him out this time?
First and foremost, you know, that was my first time going past 2 rounds under the lights. Sold out crowd, a lot of tension, a lot of nerves building up to that fight, and he's a real guy. He's tough, 5-time UFC champion. First time being hit by a 10-ounce glove. None of my opponents had hit me with the 10-ounce glove before. So I had to go through a lot in that first fight, a lot of learning, a lot of experience, you know, getting buzzed in the 4th round and working through it, winning the rest of the rounds. So it was really just a great learning experience, and I love the way it happened because I went back into camp with a chip on my shoulder to get a lot better, no matter who it was that I'm fighting, and now I get the chance to take at it again.
Listen, you're going back and forth with Canelo, the face of boxing. He's going up to cruiserweight, supposedly to fight for a title. I mean, it's making it a little bit more realistic down the line. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, they say Canelo's the face of boxing. I'm the of boxing. So who do you like more, you know? But him moving up to cruiserweight just makes our fight more real, and it gives him no excuse to say, "Oh, you're too heavy, you're too heavy."
Right.
So, look, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Jake Paul versus Canelo will happen in the next 36 months.
And as far as Woodley, you predicting a round in the knockout?
Under 5.
Under 5.
Under 5 rounds.
I want to do a quick 8 rapid fire questions, some word association. I'm going to throw a name out there, describe this person with one
These
name.
are dangerous.
All
These
right?
are dangerous.
All right. Tank Davis.
Short.
Tommy Fury.
Scared.
Canelo Alvarez.
I don't even know about him, man.
All right, I'm going to add another question. What felt better, getting to your first 1 million subscribers on YouTube or scoring your first knockout?
Scoring my first knockout. 100%. That's what made me catch the boxing bug.
One team has to go. Cavs or the Browns?
Oh, man. Probably the Cavs. I'm a big Browns fan right now.
All right, describe this person with one word. Jake Paul.
Goated.
There you have it. Jake Paul, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Tony, I forgot to ask you who's on your nice list. We got your naughty list. Who's on your nice list?
The nice list is definitely George Kambosos.
Ah, yes.
Definitely. I mean, what a fantastic performance against Teofimo Lopez. Shocked the boxing world, just shocked the world in general, me most definitely. I didn't think he had that in him. I didn't see that in him prior to the Lee Selby fight, so amazing performance and full credit, man. Just clap your hands when it comes to Kambosos.
No, for real. Now, look, we just saw Jake Paul. How do you feel, right? You're a real fighter. You came up the proper way, time in the gyms, all that good stuff. How do you feel when you see these social media boxers?
I've just seen that now. I mean, listen, I ain't got no problem with what these guys are doing. I think it's all well and good. I mean, I wouldn't like it to be labelled as boxing because he ain't fought a boxer yet. He's fought some guys, he's dragging them from bloody judo, from karate, from MMA, and so until you fight and beat a boxer, you can't be regarded as a professional fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if I go dancing on Saturday night, can I be regarded as a dancer while I'm working here tonight? I don't know.
I'd love to see you dance, Tony.
I can't dance, but I'm not even going to try it. So I've got no problem with what they're doing. As I say, I just worry that someone is going to get hurt eventually in this kind of circus, and it's going to reflect badly back on our sport, that's boxing. So I don't know, but I was happy that he was very, had little to say about Canelo Alvarez. I mean, I cannot believe this boy would even think about getting in a ring with Canelo Alvarez, because he could literally, if Alvarez gets in a ring with that man, it's a criminal charge of what's going to happen to that poor boy.
Do you think there'd be more interest if he was fighting Tommy Fury tonight?
Oh yeah, without shadow of a doubt. I mean, the Fury name is one that's renowned amongst the world, and that is purely for the name of Tyson Fury, not Tommy Fury. But our sport can be so fickle at times that people will attach you to a Fury and just think, oh, he's a Fury, he's going to be like Tyson Fury. Let's just stop right there for this quick second. His name is Tommy Fury, not Tyson Fury. His name's Tommy Fury for a reason, because he ain't Tyson. So, you know what I'm saying? Just
it's
let him
different.
It's just different. It's just completely different people.
Could you imagine the pressure on Tommy Fury fighting Jake Paul? Because if he lost,
Wow.
what does that do for boxing?
And I'm not going to lie, he could have.
That's what I'm saying.
Everyone's thinking like he's a professional boxer. He's a professional boxer with very limited amount of experience. About the likes of Jake Paul and his brother, it's not that they're great fighters. What they are is the conditioned athletes.
Yes,
the strong boys. You know, they've had wrestling backgrounds and pedigrees through school and whatever have you. In our school, and in the schools nationally here, we play football. And if we don't do football, it's very, very rare that we do boxing. I mean, after football, when I was in school, it was like we play football or you get on the trampoline. You know what I'm saying? In America, these guys are wrestling, playing football, American football, soccer. They play all our sports and more, and they're more physical and they're more driven. This is why a lot of them turn out to be really good at MMA and stuff like that. Wrestling is a huge background and is a huge importance in all of combat sports.
Tony, if somebody from social media world called you out for a fight, would you be up for it? Or maybe not even social media. Let's say Idris Elba wanted it.
Trav, no one's going to call me. And I could never hit Luther, man. I call Luther like that. Jeez, what's wrong with you, boy? No, I love it. I mean, I could never fight one. Because, you see, the thing with me is they know I'm not playing. So if someone like Jake Paul puts it on me, he's probably getting slapped up before the fight even gets anywhere. So He's not going to talk and mess around with someone like me. And I've got no disrespect for him. I think a lot of these YouTubers, speaking to KSI quite a while back, I soon realised that these guys are, KSI is not a rapper. He's not just a YouTuber. What he is though, is somebody who works very, very hard. And I think them Paul brothers are the exact same.
Jake Paul is some type of character. From one character to another, Alan Babbage the Savage. Ade and Tony caught up with him earlier.
Alan the Savage Babbage is back this weekend on the undercard of Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker. Always great to see you fight. 3 fights so far this year, 3 wins, 3 knockouts as well. Tick, tick, tick. Good year.
Excellent year, thank you. And it started really not excellent, with a heart surgery. And actually, they told me I'm going to be out for 10 months. So I was just supposed to be in bed still. So this is the best thing that I proved them wrong, all the doctors and surgeons. And for fight, can't wait, This is all for the fans, especially this fight. I wasn't really ready to get into a fight camp, but when Eddie called, I got ready like in 7 days because I train every day. I start heavy sparrings, that's my kind of training. I start heavy sparrings and I had 3-4 weeks of heavy sparrings, and I'm here, I'm ready as ever. I just hope somebody will stand more than 1 round.
It's been great watching you, Alan, and you're my favourite prospect. Outside of my own boys that I look after and manage, you're my favourite prospect in the whole country. You just say what you're going to do, you go in there and you do it. You don't mess around, you try and knock guys out immediately. What for you has been your standout moment this year in the ring?
This year, of course, the engagement with my girl, she means a lot to me, and all of this is partly because of her, because I have that mental stability, I don't have to look at other girls and stuff, I'm just talking now. But
behind every good man is a strong woman.
Yeah, it is. I can't really explain that, but she means a lot to me, and that was the standout. But other thing was this surgery that happened, and they told me like 10 months off, and I said I want to make it in 2 months, and I did it. So that was really a victory, mental victory for me.
It feels good now?
Yeah, it feels amazing, and now I can do everything. After they told me 10 months, I did it in 2 months. I don't listen to nobody now. And I know I can do everything, and I can give all my body to boxing for the next 6-7 years, and I'm going all in. That's why I want the toughest fights now, I want the toughest ones because I'm never going to be stronger than I am now.
You are coming off a career best win, I think so anyway, against Eric Molina, former world title challenger. Yes, he's not the Molina of 5-6 years ago, but he's still big, still strong heavyweight, still live. Career best win for you?
Well, listen, I don't see it as such because I didn't come to boxing to fight Molina. I wasn't like a little kid watching. I want to fight Molina. No, I want to fight the big guys. I want to fight somebody who is recognized, as the best. And Molina was on his way down. All respect to him. He did throw a couple of punches. He wanted to take my head off and everything, but he wasn't even near something like a victory. So I don't see it as such. I just don't see all my victories so far were for the fans. I didn't need to reach deep down. I want to go to the Muhammad Ali Fraser 15-round kind of situations, and then I want to show people what I can do. Then I want to bring the whole stadium up. So I'm just still searching for that my career win.
I feel like you've blown up since the Winters fight in Fight Camp. It's like we'd heard little bits about you and we'd seen. But Sean Winters kept talking and goading you, the presser, and you can do this, you can do that. And you went in, and everybody's seen the fight that he gave Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
And we all thought, this is a bit of a test, and we were a bit worried, but you went in there and you blew him away. From that day, you took my heart, I'm not going to lie, it was great, it was fantastic. But I always remember Eddie Hearn saying, this is a hard fight, This Winters, but he can really fight. You seen how he was with Joseph Parker, and you went in there, and as I say, just blew him away. Do you feel like you're learning in these fights because they're ending so quickly? I mean, I think the fight, well, there's been a couple where they've gone a few rounds, and when they go a few rounds, I feel like you're getting asked questions, but then when you start getting asked questions, you find a way to get rid of them. Like the Mark Bennett fight. Did you feel like that fight, you learned much, or did you feel good going through it? Or what are you learning in these bouts?
Well, listen, I want to say Shadell Winters also won fight. I didn't know who Shadell Winters is. So in my mind, I'm mentally much stronger than that to get into a tough fight with a guy that I don't respect as much as I would you or somebody other, big guys. So I just go in there to destroy them, and I don't care what they say. I really don't, because we're gonna fight, we're gonna meet in the ring. All this talking I do is for the fans. It doesn't mean nothing, you know. It doesn't mean nothing really, you know. But you will not disrespect me, you know. I will hold my own, but in the fight I knew it. He doesn't have any chance. And Eddie Hearn said this is a 50-50 fight. And I look at him like this. He really thinks this is a pretty good fight. You remember? And then you look at me all the time. I was like, it's not. You know, I try to say to people what I'm gonna do to him. Nobody believed me. And now after 10 fights, I think somebody will start to believe me, because this guy again is coming and again try to sell the fight like it's a tough fight, but it's not. It's just a routine victory, you know. And I'm just so settled into it now, you know. I'm just so. I wasn't sure about the Winters fight, but now I'm sure I can do damage to these guys, and they couldn't do nothing to me. And for the Bennett fight, I tested myself. I didn't train for the fight. At all. Yeah, my coach was mad. My coach wanted to relieve me of my boxing because I didn't train for the fight one day.
Wow.
I look like a fat.
He's a big, strong, heavy man as well.
And I looked very, very bad if you look at it now, because
Maybe you were thinking of the engagement.
I had a lot on my mind. I had a lot on my mind. I didn't train for the fight. I mean, I always train, but not like this. Now I'm ready. I'm war ready. He wouldn't last 2 rounds if I'm like this. But I wasn't training. I was just, what's going to happen? Let's see. It's better that I test myself now than to do tests against the big guys when they come. You know, and then now that's just another step that I took in my head. Okay, so I can do it even if I'm not prepared. You know, so I just do this test all the time, you know.
I think now everyone genuinely believes in you as a heavyweight. I think there were questions before that he's small, go down to Bridgerweight. Without looking past the weekend, if you are given the options of what to do in 2022, do you go for the Oscar Rivas fight at Bridgerweight, or do you go for a big name at heavyweight?
Well, I think we settled that. Eddie Hearn and Dillian White, my team, I think we are going to go for the Oscar Rivas. You know, I'm number 3 in Bridgerweights, which is very, very good to me, and you know, they respected me with that kind of position. You know, third challenger. I don't know, you know, how do you call that? So, yeah, I'm gonna go for that title, but only so I can go back to heavyweight with some title belt. I'm world champion. I want to be a world champion. You know, if they want me, I'm gonna go to cruiserweights. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff. Like I said, I give this next 7 years of my life to boxing. Whatever they want to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to light heavyweight. You know, I will do it. The only head will say I'm going to shrink. You know, I'm ready to do all kinds of stuff to make my name. You know, because I'm in for much bigger, but much more things than these guys are. This is my next opponent. He has, I don't know, 10-3, 10-4. He's not in it for the same reasons I am. You know, and I don't even look at him as a step up or as a, I don't know, something on my way. You know?
It's good to hear that your final goal is a world champion, because that's what we all want to be, world champion at the end of the day. So it's been brilliant, as always. It's as entertaining in here listening to him, talking to you, Alan, as it is.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic. He entertains in the ring, he entertains out the ring. Good luck on Saturday. Not that you'll need it. And we look forward to a fantastic 2022.
Thank you, brother. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
They're everywhere.
And here comes Canelo.
Defying odds, logic, reason. The game changes. We call them gifted. But that's an insult to the hard work and determination to never throw in the towel. It's the willpower and the staying power. So go with the stopping power. To fight convention and bloody the nose of tradition. This is your boxing. Your way. The Zone. Game changed.
As you can see, the AO Arena behind me is starting to fill up with some of the early arrivers. Listen, from 4:30, just before the bell, we'll be kicking off. It's going to be amazing. But right now, we're going to kick off to Tampa, where our man Ak is talking to Amanda, the real deal Serrano.
All right, fight fans, we're still here in Tampa, Florida. You know who's standing beside me, the most decorated professional female fighter ever. There's no question about that. She's humble about it. But listen, first off, I want to know, I haven't spoken to you since this whole relationship with Jake Paul. I want to know, how did it start? Did he come to you? Did your team go to him? And how's it been going?
Oh my God, it's been amazing. You know, it has to be one of the best decisions I made as a pro. It took this long for a guy like Jake Paul to acknowledge female boxing, to acknowledge me as a fighter, not even as a female boxer. So I'm super proud to be part of MVP. No, it was like a mutual thing. You know, we met when he made his pro debut, and I vaguely said, you know, hi. And then he wanted to put a female on his last card in Cleveland, Ohio. And Steven Espinoza, he recommended me, and then he's looked me up. He said, definitely, I want her. And from there, we just we clicked and we became cool. And then after my last fight, he spoke to my manager, Nikisa, for MVP. He said, let's work together.
Make a deal.
Yeah.
Did you show him around Puerto Rico? Because he lives there now. That's a house.
Actually, he's gonna show me around Puerto Rico. No, I haven't got to. I worked out with him one time in the gym in Puerto Rico, but no. Hopefully after this fight, I can go back and maybe just.
It's just that Puerto Rican fighter blood just pulled him over there to that island, right? We're fighters over there.
I think it was. It had to be. It was in the water.
Now let's talk about Katie Taylor, right? I mean, she just had a fight. Tell me first what you think of her performance.
You know, Katie Taylor, she's a hell of a fighter. You know, she showed that she still has her skills. She still has her speed out there. And, you know, Katie Taylor is pound for pound, one of the greatest female boxers, and we know that. So she got the W. She secured the W. Now it's my turn to come Saturday to secure that W so we can have that mega fight.
But were you watching a fight saying and seeing holes and seeing things you can capitalize against her? Be honest, come on. I
think we all do as fighters. You know, as a future opponent, you're always looking at flaws and her and what she's good at. So you know, but you know, I just watch it as a fight fan, and I have my trainer and the team. They do all that.
They're watching the tapes and all that. You just execute in the ring.
Exactly.
Now, is it realistic that fight is going to happen in 2022? Like, has there been conversations about it?
Yeah, it's definitely conversation. The contract has been going back and forth. I'm super excited for this fight. Now I have to do my job. Katie Taylor did her job last week. Now it's my time Saturday to secure that W. Right. And then we have 2022, the mega fight.
Now, you've done so much in the sport, so many different divisions, so many world titles. If you do get that fight, and let's say Amanda's victorious, are you hanging it up after that?
I don't know. I mean, that will secure my legacy and say I am the pound for pound. Whoa, I'm pound for pound the best women fighter in this game. But I don't know. You'll have to see.
What should we expect on Saturday night?
Saturday, you're going to see a great night of boxing, of skills, of strength.
A typical Amanda knockout?
A typical night.
Listen, man, you're always exciting to watch. In my opinion, the most exciting female fighter in the sport. I'm looking to see a knockout on Saturday, so I'll be there tuned in. Good luck, and hopefully we get the Amanda fight.
Yeah, the Katie Taylor fight.
The Katie Taylor fight. Amanda Serrano, folks.
Well, look, the weather looks beautiful over there in Tampa. Over here, not as sunny, but we got a big night of our own. But Tony, I want to ask, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, 2022. Do you like that fight?
Oh, of course. I think women's boxing needs it, to be brutally honest. We need a super fight, a mega fight, and Amanda Serrano, she's won world titles in numerous divisions, but she's got it all to do on Saturday night against Gutierrez. As she said, Katie Taylor's fulfilled her half of the bargain against Sharapova the other week, so it's up to her now to get the job done.
What did you make of Katie Taylor's performance against Sharapova?
I thought she was really good against Sharapova in certain spells. I think all of us expected a really easy night for Katie Taylor, and we were shocked by how good Sharapova actually was.
Yeah.
She showed us, you know, she was technically sound, she could take a hell of a shot, and she was game as well, so she was brave, she was good, but she was always just a level behind Katie Taylor. She couldn't quite maintain the momentum to get to Katie Taylor. Once she got up close, she kind of nullified, as we've seen here. She tried to hold an awful lot of times, and Katie is someone who likes to work inside and make that kind of work show, and Sharapova neglected her from doing that.
Do you think, last couple of performances from Katie Taylor, she seems a little bit flat. Do you think the Serrano fight has been on her mind?
Ultimately, it's always in the background, you know. as fighters, you'd always want the biggest fight possible, and you take, I don't want to say warm-up fights because it's disrespectful to the fighters who they're actually facing, like Sharapova. But Katie Taylor's got a goal, and she sees a light at the end of the tunnel. Amanda Serrano is the light at the end of the tunnel for Katie Taylor. She really is. So she's had to go through many obstacles, many steps to get there. You know, she went through hell against Delphine Pursoon, not once but twice. Then she had a really close hard fight with Tasha Jonas, and then, as I say, last time out against Sharapova. She is, I think she's now on the come down from such an amazing career, how great she's really been. But I think if anything, she's going to start getting weaker in age. Time waits for nobody, as you know, Trevor. You know that's the way it goes. So we'll see how it goes. I think the Serrano fight will be the toughest fight of her whole career, if I'm being totally honest.
It's funny because Serrano's talking like if she gets the Katie Taylor fight, it might be her last fight. Do you think she's knocking on the door of retirement?
I think every fighter that's in the game when you're over 31, 32, you've got to look at an exit strategy out. Personally, I can only speak from personal experience. I had an exit strategy as soon as I hit 32. I knew that the next fight could be my last fight, and I was always scared about, you know, I always wanted to be, I retire from boxing, I don't want boxing to retire me. And these fighters now are getting cleverer as they go along. They're getting smarter with the finances, they're getting smarter with how they prepare for fights. You know, there's such a big science around the sport now of the way you prepare and stuff like that. So do you understand you can't overstay your welcome in this kind of business? And I think by listening to Amanda Serrano there, she's already looking at that exit strategy after the Katie Taylor fight.
Well, another big fight on the undercard. Lerone Richards takes on Carlos Gongora earlier. Tony and Ade caught up with Lerone.
So many big fights at the AO Arena on Saturday night, really big fights. But for me, my main event, my personal main event, is this man, Lerone Richards takes on Carlos Gongora for the IBO Super Middleweight strap. You know, I'm just so happy for you because you've waited, you've bided your time. Yes, you're, you know, former European champion, you gave up that belt. But I was like, when is Lerone Richards going to get a big fight? I've seen you at so many events in the last sort of 6 or 7 months, and you've been there patiently waiting, watching. You get your big opportunity. Carlos Gongora, though, 20 fights, 20 wins, 15 knockouts. Tough fight.
Yeah, it's a tough fight, and it's a fight that excites me. No one's seen the best of me, and I think this fight, well, I know this fight's going to bring out the best in me. I've been very vocal in saying there's something to learn at every level. You know, winning the British, Commonwealth, European title. This is the next step, and I can't wait.
You've been working with Dave Coldon now for quite a while, Lerone, and we've all seen the improvements bit by bit. I think we've been touching on with your strength and conditioning work with Dan. Your body's now, you've changed physically as well. Everything's coming into place for you now. What do you feel with this fight now we're going to see that's different from the other fights? You know, no disrespect to, you know, my former coaches, but I'm with a world-class coach now. And Dave's just not a coach, he's a teacher. And he drills me, he's drilled, and, you know, 99% right's not good enough with Dave. And it shows, you know, it's been shown in my boxing, it's going to show in this fight. Working with Danny, conditioning, strength, it's just gone up on another level. I think it's just a matter of just having a world-class team now. And I've always been confident, but I'm very confident, even more confident now having the backing of them behind me.
You mentioned former coaches, obviously Alan Smith trained you, and I was reading something Alan Smith wrote in 2017, and he said, you are the best boxer he's ever trained. Like, you know, naturally gifted, the best boxer, and we just didn't know that. And someone else said it the same. I was reading one of the comments below that comment, and someone said, Lerone Richards is the best British boxer that no one knows. Like, now, though, you get the chance to show people, right? You're going to get the opportunity. There's going to be a sellout at the AO Arena, and you get the chance to show people just how good you are, right?
Yeah, I think the reason why people don't appreciate what I'm doing, because obviously I've been, from when I started, I've been outboxing people, but now...
Embarrassing some people, you've been kind. Outboxing, embarrassing some people.
Yeah, and they don't think I'm spiteful, but I am spiteful. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, and there's different shapes to my boxing. But when I start doing the same thing and start outboxing and showcasing my skills to higher level opposition, I think that's when people start to appreciate what I do.
It's interesting you say that. Do you think that maybe people don't appreciate, because obviously, look, of the record, 15 wins, 3 knockouts.
Yes.
Do you think there's a lot of people that are maybe looking at the knockout percentage and thinking, okay, he doesn't punch? When I speak to people around you, I've spoken to Dave about you, and he says, look, when he hits the pads with you, when you sit down on your punches, you definitely can dig.
Yes. Well, I know that, and I'm not in this sport to start proving to anyone. I just do me, and what I'm doing is working. And if the easiest way is to hit and not being hit, then I'll do that to win the fight. If it's to come forward, I'll do that. If it's to sit back, I'll do that too. It's the sweet science of boxing, and it's something I'm good at doing, and it's something that I'll continue to do until the day I retire.
I think it's good that you've got many different avenues you can go down to win fights, Lerone. I think it's massively important. The fighter who can adapt is the fighter who will last longer in the sport and will achieve more in the sport, in my opinion. What do you feel Gongora brings to this fight? You know, obviously he's undefeated like yourself. This is a massive test, not just for you, but for him. People will look at this and think, oh, he's dangerous, you know, 20-0, 15 knockouts, whatever it is. But what do you picture out there as his danger things that he does in the fight?
You know, Gongora's got a good amateur pedigree. I always look back into things like that, because it's important. He's a good boxer and a good puncher, it's clear to see. He's not just a power puncher. He sets up his punches really well in order to get the knockout. So I've got a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for his style, and I'm very confident in this fight and winning this fight, and not just winning it well. Well, not just winning it really well.
When they look at your record and they see the small number of knockouts, a big part of me feels, to be honest, Eddie, that when Lerone gets in the ring with these guys, he frustrates them so much that they just don't want to know. Within the first couple of rounds, they can't deal with you. They can't deal with your style, your things that you do, the traps you set, the way you keep hitting them. It frustrates them. And what they do, they go negative. And a big thing, it was very similar to when Lee Selby got started in his career. Lee Selby was a fighter in a similar position to yourself, exactly where you're at now. And these guys didn't want to fight him. Like, you'd get in the ring with them and they'd be like, why doesn't he stop anyone? It's because they had no ambition. I feel Lerone is interesting where when these guys start really coming for it and they're really trying to win, that's when we'll see the knockouts, because they will walk onto his shots more because they're trying to win. The winners that he's facing, it's no disrespect to your previous opponents, by the way. It's just the fact of they're so frustrated and they go, do you know what? I'll just get through this. And a fighter who's not motivated and is not attacking you, it's virtually impossible to stop. Believe me, I've fought guys who are so much lesser quality of opponent than myself, but I couldn't get rid of them. And that's because they didn't want to know, they shut up shop. And if you fight a half-decent fighter who doesn't want to get stopped, believe me, he ain't getting stopped. And I think we will see that as you go on now. I think this Carlos Gongora fight, this really could be you opening the doors to big, big fights.
It can, and you know, just hearing you say that it's music to my ears. I started from the bottom, you know, small hall shows, and
I love that journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey that we don't see as much now, because obviously a lot of fighters get pushed very quickly and they kind of avoid the sort of the British, the European, the Commonwealth, and they just go straight to the international belts. Yeah. I love the idea of someone going through the ranks, and you've done that. Strength and conditioning, your body's changed. I can see it physically, you look a lot good now. Talk to me about the work you've been doing with boxing science.
Oh, it's a different level. It's science, you know, it says it in the name, and it's taking me to the next level.
I need to get there as well. You're okay. You're all right, son. No, you're all right. I think I might need to have a go there myself.
Oh, yeah. I've seen Dan working for many, many years, and he's here with you today. He's brilliant at the work he does.
It's amazing.
He's got some fantastic athletes on the roster. Jordan Gill, an exceptional athlete.
Fabio Wardley's in the camp as well.
Fabio Wardley. These guys are prime-time athletes, phenomenal specimens, and he uses their attributes. It's crazy because he doesn't train all the fights the same way. I know he's a strength and conditioning coach, but he adapts to each one that comes, and that's what I like, because every fighter is different. You shouldn't be training a flyweight the same as you're training a middleweight. You shouldn't be training a middleweight the same as you're training a heavyweight. They will all do different things at different weights. It's working with you, mate. You can see it in your physique.
Yeah, I just... it works hand in hand. You know, when I go into fights, I've always been fit, but since working with Danny and the team, I can go out the gears, I can drop it. I've got full control of my body, and yeah, it's improved a lot of things, obviously in my boxing mainly. So yeah, it's made a huge, huge difference.
As we've started to see, Lerone, just before we wrap up, what can fans expect on Saturday night? Again, two unbeaten fighters. As they say, someone's O has got to go, unless it's a draw. No one ever says that, do they? But someone's O has got to go. What can we expect?
Skills. The sweet science of boxing. That's what I bring to the table. I always say it's all about the skills, and you're going to see Lerone Richards not just the ordinary Lerone Richards, but with a little bit of spice. So, you know, I can't wait.
I like it.
Is there any chance we can get a song as well after the victory?
What, you're a singer as well?
He really sing.
You can sing as well.
He's got a voice.
He's got a voice?
For real. I'm not lying. He can sing.
He's got a bit of everything.
He's good looking kid.
Skills pay the bills. Skills pay the bills. Lerone, good luck on the weekend. Should be an absolutely fantastic fight. Lerone Richards versus Carlos Gongora. Remember, it's for the IBO Super Middleweight strap. Should be a good one.
So, Matchroom fights are on Dazn now.
Yeah, D-A-Z-N, Dazn. You can find it in the App Store on your smart TV. Don't worry, old fella. I'll make us a cuppa, and I'll get it set up for you.
What took you so long, boy?
I'm not having that. There's no way you've installed that already.
I do know how to put a fight on, son.
It's a global sports streaming giant. That's so there.
Can we just do it without him saying anything?
Welcome back. We are here joined by the main man, the chairman of Matchroom, Eddie Hearn. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, but if I go one step back, you could get the greatest bit of TV you've ever seen. So, we're right on the edge here, ready to open the doors for a packed Manchester Arena. Huge show to end the year, show 44 of 44. And I think we're going to get a cracker tonight.
Mate, very excited. Just before we move on, just want to say congratulations to your dad in the OBE.
I know, I'll never live it down. I've got to get the
You've got to get one now.
I've got to get the knighthood, not the OBE. That's not good enough, do you know what I mean? So, got a long way to go. But I know the Queen's a big Dazn fan, so hopefully it won't be long.
Yep, show 43 last night. A little bit of controversy with the Matchroom decision.
Yeah, Uzbekistan. Madrimov just carried on after the bell.
Yeah.
No one heard the bell. The referee... It was a really good fight, by the way, as well. Nip and tuck. I believe the judges had it all square at the time of the stoppage. I mean, Chisora was badly hurt. Madrimov boxed really good last night, and you can see him here. And the stoppage is coming, naturally. Do you know what I mean? But then he lands 3 or 4 on him after. The ref, I don't know what the ref was doing. Madrimov didn't hear the bell, the ref didn't hear the bell. And it's a gutter because I think the fight would have naturally ended with a legitimate stoppage. And he would have moved forward as the mandatory challenger for Castano or Charlo, whoever it will be. And instead, you know, I'm guessing we're going to have a rematch, and I expect the WBA to order that. It's a shame because it was a really good performance from Madrimov. I mean, look, Soro's done. He's, you know, but unfortunately, a lot of the shots were landed after the bell.
Yeah.
So
Is the referee more to blame there?
I mean, look, I think
bell's gone.
There is an argument to say maybe Madrimov was lucky not to be disqualified. I mean, he's landing 3 or 4 clean shots after the bell. But I guess the ref not hearing the bell has actually helped Madrimov because otherwise he could have been penalised. And who knows? I mean, Frank Smith was there and they were saying actually, after about 20 minutes, they were saying, should we start the fight again? And Frank was saying, no. Like, I mean, you know, it is, when you go into these unique environments, sometimes... You know, it's a bit of a crazy night, and it appeared like a crazy night last night, and I guess they'll lodge,
maybe
you know,
change it to a no contest.
Yeah, I think so, and you know, I'd love to sit here and argue with you, say no, Madrimov deserves the victory, but at the end of the day, everybody saw it, and I think it's likely a rematch will be ordered.
So I know you've just come back from Dubai. Is there any update on AJ Usyk?
Just really going out there in the Middle East to see a number of venues and potential sites. My gut feeling is the fight will happen in the UK. I think that's where it should happen. We had a great time at Spurs. You know, obviously it's a fight AJ has to win, but we also have to listen to all these offers that are coming in, and we're doing the rounds this week, and you know, we'll be sitting down with Alex Krasik over the next couple of weeks and decided where that will take place. You know, there were discussions about AJ waiting, allowing Usyk Fury, but you've got Dillian White, the cog in that wheel, is not going to really want that to happen either. He's waited a long time for his shot. So I think really when it comes down to it, better to just get those fights made. Fury against White, Usyk against AJ. And we've got 2 brilliant heavyweight fights there leading to what hopefully will be the undisputed later in the year.
Is it a definite fact that AJ wants the rematch? There was a recent
100%.
IFL interview.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, he doesn't want to have a conversation about stepping aside. And he's made that clear to me. He's quite, you know, and put the fear into me a little bit and said, don't come to me to talk about me stepping aside, because when I first mentioned to it, he thought it was disrespectful, you know, because he believes he should have beaten Usyk, not in the fight, but pre-fight.
Of course, yeah.
He believes he can beat him again. He's got the opportunity to retain or regain his world heavyweight titles.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, you know, if you bring the step aside to him, you're ultimately saying, what you think, I can't win.
Of course.
You know, and I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you get a new trainer, you know. But everyone came to us after the Andy Ruiz defeat and said, don't fight Andy Ruiz again. You went down 4 or 5 times. You know, he needs to come back with a confidence builder. He went back and he won every round.
Yeah.
Now, this was a different kind of defeat this time around. You know, he didn't get knocked down 4 or 5 times, but he did get outboxed. You know, wrong tactics, etc. And as Tony knows, it's not just as easy to say, oh, in the rematch, you've just got to go out there and stick it on Alexander Usyk. But of course, he has to be more aggressive. But he feels good. He feels confident. He wants revenge.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way it'll play out. The step-aside discussions were more, at some point, if it was a good idea for his career, strategically, financially, I would take it to him. But we didn't really get to that point because, 1, I don't think it was possible, and 2, I was a little bit scared.
I respect that. Are we any closer to any negotiations starting for Fury and White?
The problem is, at the moment, is the WBC haven't told us what the split is.
Right.
So they've asked us to negotiate, but until that purse bid gets ordered, we don't know what the split of the fight is. The maximum split for an interim world champion, which is Dillian White, is 55-45 to the champion. Top Rank have been petitioning for 80-20 for Tyson Fury. Now, obviously,
that's crazy.
Their offers will be around that number. Well, we want the higher end of that split. So until there's an actual ruling in terms of the purse bid, there'll be no deal, because at that level, Dillian White's not being respected in terms of how long he's had to wait and his commercial value in the fight. And if he's not respected, we've got a big pot of money where we'll win the purse bids for that fight.
Yeah.
You know, we're not looking to be difficult or smart. If it's the right deal, if Dillian White's respected, we'll make it happen. But we would love to stage that ourselves on Dazn, you know, and it's a massive fight. So, you know, we want to move forward, we want to get the fight made, but as I said, Dillian White has to be respected in those negotiations.
I've got to ask you, right, because there's been a lot of talk. Leonard Ellaby's been talking about your name. How do you feel about Leonard Ellaby?
Do you know what, right, if you said, you'll see in all these guys, you know, whether it's Bob Arum, whether it's Leonard Ellaby, whether it's Frank Warren, you mention my name, and the heart rate or the blood pressure goes through the roof. You could mention any of those people to me, honestly, like, I'm calm. It's just, they don't bother me, they're just... I think maybe, you know, I saw Richard Schaefer in Dubai, and obviously I do a lot of impersonations of him, stuff like that. And people said to me, oh, you know, he really... But it's just, don't take yourself too seriously, you know, but that's a British thing, I think. And, you know, Leonard Ellaby says, you know, if Hearn keeps on disrespecting me, all I said was, the Haney-Diaz fight was bigger than the Tank fight. That was it. You know, I didn't start talking about, you know, personal stuff.
It was.
I thought so. So he said, if I get within 10 foot of him, he's going to knock me out. I mean, he's 58. I said to my old man the other day, I said, look, Dad, I said, Leonard against Hearns, right? Because that's what they call me over there. Okay. I said, Floyd trains Leonard Ellaby, Reynoso trains me, right? Does a lot of buys.
That's exciting.
Right? Have to be on Dazn, right? But I said this, 90-10 split to me, because obviously I'm considerably you know, more popular and powerful than Leonard, right? 10 million minimum guarantee, we'll make it happen. But I said to my dad, I said, Dad, be honest, how much would it take for me to get in the ring? Like, would you be happy with? Because I don't embarrass you. And he said to me, mate, nothing. He said, you're absolutely useless and you'll probably get knocked out. He said, the embarrassment of getting knocked out is not worth any amount of money. So I'm going to retire before I've even started.
Just out of curiosity, right? Yeah. What weight would you reckon you'd be able to make?
I mean, I'm 17 stone 10, right?
That's what I was when I very first got away before I started training again.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Sorry, you basically just said that that's the same weight you were when you were obese, right? Do you know what I mean?
I wasn't obese.
No, mate. So what I'm saying is, I could make 16.5 stone.
I could get you to 16 stone.
Big Leonard, I reckon he's around that number as well. But no, see again, all this conversation, it's just jesting. But it's probably going to be like headlines where Hearn says he'll take 10 mil. No, I'm not fighting Leonard. I've got no problem with him, but you know, I just get under people's skin, I guess. And you know, my advice to them is don't take yourself too seriously. You know, what I mean? It's good for boxing.
Does Leonard Ellaby even put fights on?
Well, don't you start, mate.
No, but does he? Is he a promoter? I didn't know if he was.
You know what? Hopefully he'll go for you, because I know how that ends.
Because it was Lou.
Leonard
Lou
works for Mayweather Promotions.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the Mayweather Promotions put bills on.
Yeah.
But he's not Mayweather Promotions. It's
Well,
Floyd's
listen, I don't
Mayweather
want to say a bad word about Leonard.
No.
He works. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
They've done a great job with Tank. Tank's a star.
He's
amazing.
amazing.
So
He's a good
I
fighter.
keep saying, but
he's amazing.
they didn't do too well on the old pay-per-view. But
that was
maybe that's why they're a little bit.
That kid needs a platform. Gervonta Davis is a brilliant fighter. He just needs a platform. So just come over to the zone, mate, and I'm happy to welcome you.
After last week, what are the plans for Ben and Taylor?
I mean, Conor Benn, great performance last week. Everyone's like, it's funny when you get someone that all of a sudden becomes a bit of a golden goose.
Yeah.
Everyone's calling his name. Oh, he's scared of him. He's scared of him. We had David Avanesian.
There he is now.
I mean, it's the way he sets it up, right? So it was a really good performance all round. But people were standing up in the arena and clapping him. The defence. Making Algieri miss. A bit off balance there, but it's the way that he set the right hand up. If you watch, I'm sure you'll see it in a minute. Just steps, plays with him with a jab, bang, right hand. I mean, that's a beautiful shot. No one's done that to Algieri, and we know he's past his best. But the matchmaking for Conor Benn so far has been perfect. Not because it's been particularly easy, but for his development. And unfortunately, a lot of people are calling out his name. I don't want to sound arrogant. Right now, he's the guy. In the UK, where people are looking at it and saying, he's the money guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Adrian Broner, who I spoke to last night, Robert Guerrero, Sean Paul, if he wants to come out. David Avanesian, it's still a great fight, but I want to fill up the O2. I don't want to fill up, half the O2. So, coming in against Adrian Broner against Conor Benn would be a massive fight at the O2.
Fight.
So
the press conference would be hilarious.
But this young man is special, so we want to make sure that we get it right. We're not going to just jump in because some bloke called him out and we're not having that. We do it right. Yeah. So, I feel like he's a special talent and we just make sure the progression's right.
Serrano's fighting tonight. Surely Katie Taylor, that's got to be next.
I mean, they have the contracts, we're going backwards and forwards. It's really done, to be honest with you. I mean, it's agreed in principle. We have to pay for it. Hopefully she wins tonight. April is slated. Katie had a few niggles coming out of that fight. Okay. Might eke into May, but I'm very confident you'll see that fight next year.
What are your thoughts on tonight, Chisora Parker 2, the rematch?
I was talking to Tony about it. Obviously, he's good friends with Derek Chisora. I just think Joseph Parker's going to come in like a wrecking ball early. I think he's built for destruction in this fight. I couldn't believe the size of him yesterday. And not overweight, just really solid. And I think he's going to come in, try and almost bully Derek Chisora in the opening session of that fight. If Derek can get through those first 3 or 4 rounds, it's a real fight. But I do worry, Derek does get caught cold early. You saw it in the Dillian White 2 fight. He was stunned badly in that first fight, but he got through it. Joseph's not a massive puncher, but if he goes in and holds his feet. But by the way, if he decides to hold his feet and have a tear up, they'll all stand with him. And you might see this fight all over in 3 or 4 rounds, and someone will get cleaned out.
I'm not surprised anyone tonight, because you just don't know what Derek's going to get in the ring. And but also, as I said, it's a big thing for me, Parker coming in at 251. It really is, because that means he is going to stand there. He's going to hold the centre. I don't think necessarily slower. His hands won't be any slower. His feet will just be more stable. He'll stay centre ring. You will not see Joseph Parker bullied and pushed back tonight. I don't care what Derek does. I think you will see 2 bulls collide. Centre ring. I just worry about Derek early doors, as Eddie touched on before. Yes, he can be stung early. The thing with Derek is when he gets hit, and I've seen him hit really bad in the first couple of rounds of fights, he'd be a great poker player because the fighter just doesn't get on it and doesn't see it. Joseph Parker tonight will understand when the heavy shots land. We just need Derek to start quick again and also get that head and body movement. On the inside, you've got to be moving and stay busy, because you cannot afford to be a sitting duck against someone like Joseph Parker, who's heavy, former world champion, and is dangerous from the first belt.
Eddie, is it win or bust for both of these guys today?
Everyone keeps saying to me, what's next for the guys with Joseph Parker wants to become a 2-time world heavyweight champion. That's his goal. Derek Chisora just wants to fight for as much money as possible in as bigger fights as possible. But if Chisora loses tonight, I was thinking last night, he can still fight Ruiz, Wilder, Hrgovic, Zhang, Ortiz. but not for the same amount of money that he would fight all those guys for if he won.
Yeah.
So Fidel, he just loves it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, we know you've got to be rewarded financially, but he still just loves it.
Yeah.
So he will always keep fighting. What you don't want to see is if he gets beaten badly in a bad knockout, that might be a point where you say, you know, how much more do you want to fight at this level? But people keep talking about his losses. Look who they're against. You know, Fury, White twice in 2 fights that could have gone either way. Well, certainly the first one. Klitschko, Usyk, Parker. Helenius was robbed.
Yeah, he was robbed that.
Pulev, Bulgaria, should have won that fight as well. So it's top level stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a right handful. And he always gives us great fights.
Yeah.
And I believe we're going to get another one in here tonight.
For Joseph Parker, it's a completely different ballgame. He loses tonight. That's it done.
Yeah.
Because he's purely got world title dreams and aspirations. As we've just said there, Dell just wants to fight. As I said to him earlier, Derek fights for these venues, for these atmospheres, for this platform. When this platform disappears and is no longer there for him, he will leave it.
But you know, we talk about the last 2 fights, but I don't think that people have talked about this enough. The last 2 fights for Chisora were behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So what kind of difference would it have made in a packed arena? I mean, look, he lost to Usyk, but not by much, right? But the Parker fight could have gone either way. If that was in here...
And the screaming.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, you know, one whistle's by the ear, the crowd goes nuts. You get that decision
and you know
every day of the week.
On him as well.
We'll see what it does for him tonight.
Eddie, thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers, lads.
You know, we've got boxing here, but over the pond, over in Tampa, over in Dallas, there's a lot of boxing. Tonight we've got Ramirez taking on Gonzalez, and we'll throw to the stateside version of jabs as Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora look ahead to the light heavyweight clash.
Let's throw some jabs.
The fight starts now!
All right, Sergio, Gilberto Ramirez, Yanieski, Gonzalez tonight. Light heavyweights in action. What kind of threat is Gonzalez in this fight?
He's going to be the same threat that Sullivan Barrera was, not much, because at 36 years old, he's a heavy-handed puncher, but we know what he is on the top level. He has been stopped before by uppercuts and body shots, which is Zurdo Ramirez's specialty. I don't expect this fight to go past the 5th or 6th round. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be fun while it lasts, but Ramirez should win this one by knockout.
Look, Gonzalez has 17 knockouts on his resume, so we'll give him the proverbial puncher's chance. But I agree with you. This is a guy that after a loss to Alexander Vodcik in 2017, basically retired. He came back in October of 2020. He has won 3 fights in a row, but his last win was over Tommy Karpency. That is not a significant win. To me, this fight is about how good can Gilberto Ramirez look as he tries to springboard himself into 2022. I agree that Sullivan Barrera didn't put up much resistance, but that is a decent name for Ramirez to have on his resume. If he goes out and blows out Gonzalez, maybe then he will finally get the fight that he has been publicly pining for, and that is a matchup with light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. So I'm looking for Gonzalez not so much to be a threat to win, but to make it some kind of action fight that Ramirez can look good in.
Yeah, and if he could take out back-to-back, amateur Cuban standouts, it's a great look for the up-and-coming Mexican. Ramirez is building a fan base because he has a fan-friendly style, but he has a high fight IQ as well. So he can box, he can bang, and he loves mixing it up in the inside for such a tall fighter. So he's the total package pretty much, and I think Golden Boy Promotions doing an excellent job moving him in the right direction. So yeah, there's another big step up. Good look on his resume. It's going to be fun while it lasts.
I still don't know what we have in Gilberto Ramirez. He was a champion at 168. Well, he's a champion at 168, but I mean, he was best known for beating Jesse Hart twice. And Jesse Hart is best known for losing to Gilberto Ramirez. I mean, I can see the talent in him. And I think he has filled out nicely at 175 pounds. He's carrying that weight really well, and he's obviously carrying some power with him at 175. But I'm not looking at Ramirez as being some kind of inimitable force. I think he can be beaten. I just don't know if Gonzalez is going to be the guy to do it.
Look, I don't know what inimitable means. I can't even say the damn word, but I know what I see with Zurdo Ramirez, and he's not the total package, but he's pretty damn close to it. He's tall. He knows how to fight in the inside. He's a left-hander. He has power. He has good pop. He has speed. Keeps his timing. Doesn't smother himself. He has a lot of good. Nothing great that stands out, but you could check every box and it's damn good. So that's the reason he's undefeated, he's unblemished, and he's a champion and a force to reckon with.
I'll say this. One thing I love about Ramirez is that he has placed a target on the back of Dimitri Bivol, publicly calling him out. Week after week, month after month. Keep it up, Gilberto. Keep doing that. In the meantime, put on a spectacular performance against Yunieski Gonzalez. To our friends in the UK, we will throw it back to you.
The undefeated Gilberto Ramirez!
This guy is on a mission.
Oh, man. It's his all though right now. That is it, and that's all.
It's going to be a terrific fight. Someone's going to get knocked out for sure.
Zurdo Gonzalez. That starts at 1 a.m. tonight. Tony, how do you see this one playing out?
I really, really like Ramirez, Trav. I think he's a really good fighter.
Yeah.
I think Gonzalez is actually, if anything, tailor-made for Ramirez. Tall, stand-up, game as you like. And I think he'll walk onto one from Ramirez. Ramirez is a solid, solid fighter. Southpaw, which is awkward to deal with, and then has that power in the backhand also. So I think Sergio Mora was spot on there. He doesn't do anything great, but he does a lot of things good.
Yeah.
You know, he ticks an awful lot of boxes. So we're going to find out tonight. And the biggest thing that I like coming into this fight is Ramirez has put, as we've said before, that target on Dimitri Bivol's back. We need to see Bivol in a hard fight. You know, I think Craig Richards...
second gear.
Yeah, you just got to force it on him. I think Craig Richards kicks himself even now after the fight that he didn't start quicker, he didn't put it on him, because he was great in the back end of the fight, but it just wasn't enough on the night. But I think Ramirez is going to be the man.
Did Bivol impress you in his last outing?
He always just does enough.
Yeah.
But that tells me one of two things. That tells me, is he just competent with just getting a win? He just wants to win. He's not bothered about looking good. He's not bothered about the knockout. And number two, how actually good is he? That's the worry that other fights we're facing, because right now we don't know how good he is, because he hasn't been forced to go all out and give everything. We haven't seen him on the floor like we have with Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev has got knockout victories all the way through his career. Every single fight's a knockout victory. That's right. But we've seen
Scored another one last night.
Of course, but we've seen that he's vulnerable. You know, even last night against Marcus Brown, his face is a bloody mess. He's in a really hard night's work. Against Callum Johnson, we've seen him on the floor. We kind of know, he's really good and he's powerful, but you know what? He's also vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, I think Canelo would stop Beterbiev. But because I've seen the warning signs there already.
Yeah.
I've seen the shots that he can be hit
But
with.
do you think Canelo's power carries up?
Well, it did against Sergei Kovalev.
Oh, sorry, yeah, of course.
So, if it does with Kovalev, then I think it will with Beterbiev. But, as I said, it's styles make fights. When we come to Bivol, I just don't know what I've got. I don't know what I'm dealing with, because no one's forced him and pushed him. At times, I think he looks lazy, he can be outworked. I think he technically, he looks good. That's what I can say. And he looks like he punches correctly straight down the pipe with straight, hard, long shots. But ultimately, I need to see him in a hard night's work. I've seen Beterbiev in scraps. You know this guy's got heart. You know he can punch. You know he's brave.
He can get up.
Exactly. We need to see the same from Dimitri Bivol, and hopefully we see the same from Ramirez on Saturday night.
Well, that takes us back to tonight. Here's a reminder of what's to come. On the main card, it all starts at 6 p.m. with David Nyika taking on Anthony Karpin. The Savage is back in heavyweight action when Alan Babbage faces David Spillmont. Then Carlos Gongora puts his IBO World Super Middleweight title on the line against the emerging Lerone Richards. There's more gold on the line when Zelfa Barrett and Bruno Tarimo go head-to-head for the IBF Super Featherweight strap, before Jack Cullen defends his European Super Middleweight crown against Kevin Lili Sajo. And the headline act is the rematch as Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora go to war again. Final thoughts on Chisora and Parker?
I just want to see Derek get through the first couple of rounds. So, maybe once round 4 and he's fully warmed up and he gets going, I think we're on for a scrap of the night. But I'm worried in them first couple of rounds, I'm not going to lie. You know, Joseph Parker's heavy for a reason. I think he's come here with intent. He needs a knockout victory to progress in his career. Derek Chisora just loves to fight and is going to bring it. But there's so much more to be excited about. As I said, you know, you've got Lerone Richards against Carlos Gongora. I just want to see this fight, and all these fights take place tonight. I can't wait, Trav.
Well, guys, we've got a huge night of boxing ahead of us. Chisora Parker 2. From us right now, stay right here. Keep it on Dazn for Before the Bell. That's about to get up underway. But from us, it's goodbye.
It's a fight for the future for both of these two. And Derek Chisora comes out fast. This is mighty close. Oh, Parker's got it on a split decision.
A lot of people felt like Chisora earned that victory.
I thought Chisora won the fight.
This is the most important fight for me to make a statement.
Yeah, for Chisora, he felt hard done by, and he brings the heat, he brings the war every time. This is last goal we've got.
This is going to be different this time. Sometimes you got to fight fire or fire.
I know for a fact he will go to war.
We're ready to bring it back to a packed arena.